Hello everyone, welcome back to Examining the YouTube channel. So next we are starting with the planning concept. Planning here, as I said in the previously, there are many important topics in the planning also. You'll be getting one question, Paka, and another one from the decision making. So here planning, it's the beginning process of management, as I said in the previous video. In the part one, manager must plan before an organization, before he organize staff or direct or control. It's a set of other actions, all other actions. Without planning, other function produces confusions or something, nothing. So this is called as principle of primacy of planning. So we are having three subsystems: environmental subsystem, competitive subsystem, internal subsystem. Environmental is nothing but it includes the factors like population changes, government actions. Competitive means past, present action of competitors. Internal means unique features of firm like location, facilities, personnel, etc. Planning, it's an intellectual process which requires a person to think before acting. It is referred to as what? Deciding in advance, like what to do, how to do, when to do, and who has to do it. So next, according to Kuhn and Donald, process planning is a continuous process. A manager should continuously watch the process of plans like navigator who constantly checks where his ship is going to in the ocean like that. So they call in the principle of navigational change. So you can say plan should be flexible enough to adapt to the changing situation without undue cost, and this calls a flexibility in the areas of technology, market, finance, and organization. Planning is also vital in all the roles of organization. Top level managers like concerned with a long range of planning, which involves 2 to 5 years. Middle level range from few months to year, and the first level ranges from few daily or weekly up to month. So again, various levels of planning we are having. Strategic planning, it is a long-term planning which involves the questions like what business should the organization be in decade from now. Tactical planning, it's the short term planning which involves the questions like what are short term finance and personal needs. Contingency planning, it's a planning for what to do if there is a chance in government policy. If there is a change in the government policy. Planning is not static and it is basically a discrete exercise. It is dynamic in nature. And also you can say it's a blueprint which accomplishment must confirm. Next, what is the importance of planning? Firstly, to minimize the risk of uncertainty. Basically, planning provides the logical facts and the procedures to managers for making decisions so that they can make based on the plans to organization minimize the uncertainty and risk for a developing country rapidly changing socio and economic conditions. So planning helps the manager to cope up with the uncertainty and risk. Next, leads to success planning. So it does not ensure success, but planning leads to success, surely. This is because work is planned in advance and you will have no confusion. So this will happen as per your plan and achieve the goals. Focuses on the attention of organization goals. So you can stick on to something that you have to do correctly. And this makes the entire organization to work towards the goals and create a coordination in doing it. It is facilitates the control as you set the goals, targets, and the means of accomplishing these goals. These become as a standard or a benchmark against what is being performed. So a good plan helps effective control on the activities. Next, trains executives. Planning is an excellent means of training the executives. They involved in the activities of organization and plans arouse their interest in the various aspects of planning. Next is types of planning or the hierarchy of an organization plans. Vision, then there should be mission, then objectives, then strategies, then the operational plan. The operation plan, repetitive, non-repetitive, and for customers. Repetitive is nothing but standing plan, policies, procedures, methods, and rules. Non-repetitive means single time use, that is programs and budgets. Customers is nothing but business plan. So firstly, vision. It's the top of the hierarchy in the vision. Vision is nothing but dream that an entrepreneur creates about the direction of the business in future. It describes the aspiration, beliefs, and values of the organization. Our vision should be brief, focused, clear, and inspirational to the organization's employee. Vision should be linked to the customer's needs and convey the general strategy. Coming to the mission, it is a unique aim of the organization. The organization's specification in the areas like service, product, client, etc. So, mission specifies a general strategy for achieving this vision. Like you can say, example, imparting quality education to women. Here, you are specifying that you are giving the quality education specialization in your education to whom, especially to the woman. So, this is mainly signifying it. So, this is what your mission stands. Its an mission statements can be multiple points, which may be which may also mention the cultural values, that is corporate unit, business ethics, etc. It changes over time of few years with the new opportunities or the new marketing trends. Objectives, this is nothing but the goal or the aim that the management wishes. Then it is something like an end point for your business activity, and also it should be disguised by the word purpose. Purpose of an organization should be the primary role which is defined by the society, and then purpose is therefore a broad aim which applies to the organization and society. Objectives are the specific targets, you can say. You can explain the characteristics of the objects, because some question papers they have mentioned explain the characteristics of an objectives. That is, firstly you can say they can be multiple in number, you can explain it. Then it changes over time, it is either tangible or non-tangible, that is, I mean to say, it can be measured or not measured. Then objectives are priority, they are arranged in a hierarchy, and they sometimes clash with each other. So next is requirement of the sound objectives. So objectives, they must be clear and acceptable, support one another, and they should remain valid. You can watch the you can just read out the advantages of the objectives. Next, we move on to the strategies. It is defined as giving response to the competitive environment by performing the four analysis SWOT. It is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Two activities that are involved in this are environmental appraisal and the corporate appraisal. Environment is nothing but attributes of the environment like political and legal component, economic component, competitive component, and socio-cultural components. These come under environmental. Whereas corporate appraisal, this is one which analyzes of a company's strength and weaknesses. The company may lie in outstanding leadership, excellent product design, low cost manufacturing skills, personal relationship with the customer, effective transportation, these are all so on. So, and any of the strengths represents unique skills or resources that can determine the company's competitive edge and their core competency. Mode of strategy formulation, you can just go through it. Next is operational plans. Here, based on the plan, they are classified into standing plan and the single use plan. We'll get into that. Standing plan means this design for the situations which often repeat again and again. Single time is only made for a specific end with achieving a certain target, and after that, this becomes useless. That is what, like example, you can say bank uses same plan for the loan application for the new client, like four standing plans, policies, procedures, methods, and rules. You can explain them. Policies, what are the types of policies we are having, again for policies, classification based on the functions, based on the organization level, procedures, the difference between the policy and the procedure, then the methods, then rules. Single use plan to achieve a specific task, like the programs. You can make a program. If a company needs some personnel, they hire, the process has to be set up which is in the project, so according to that project they will change the hiring procedure. And next, coming to the budget, based on the financial quantitative statement that is prepared for the before time period, they will use that. Budgets are the plan for future period. So like it's important for the sales budget, production budget, etc. Then business plan characteristic, which should provide a full information. It should have an objective tone. It should not be over critical of past mistakes, and it should not be full of technical details. Steps in the planning and the planning premises. First is you have to establish a verifiable goals or set goals to be achieved. Then establishing a planning premises, internal and external premises, tangible and non-tangible, intangible premises, controllable and uncontrollable premises. Deciding the planning period, you have finding the alternative course of action, evaluating the alternatives, and selecting the best course of action. Then you have to develop a derivative plans, establish and deploy action plans, measure and control the process. What are the limitations? Is planning is time consuming because you have to analyze the data, forecast, and collect the data. So this is time consuming. And then planning is expensive because you need a work of experts. So they are very highly paid to the companies. So you need more amount in collecting and analyzing the data. Next is it is restrictive, that is, it restricts the organization to risk free opportunities. It forces the manager to work within the limits. Planning is limited because the scope is not that vast. It is inflexible sometimes, that is, advanced plans of something may not be suitable to that situation, and problem for the technical staff. So it does not like technical staff does not like a planning work, so this limits their creativity. Then resistance to change, so planning brings changes in the organization. Then interdepartmental rivalries, so it this occurs like in the production department wants to produce a product A, but the marketing department insists of selling product B, so this creates the rivalry. Then comes the decision making, it's a process of choosing among the alternatives, is defined as a decision making. It occurs at many stages of planning. Decision making and choosing the best alternative is probably the most important part of the planning process. So, types of decision: programmed and non programmed, major, minor, routine and strategic, sequential and bear by tail, individual and groups, simple and complex, heuristic and intuitive decisions. Then programmed and non-programmed. Here programmed means those are made in accordance with the policies, procedures, etc. Like determine salary payment to an employee who will be ill, recording office supplies and so on like that. Next is non-programmed decisions. These are non-repetitive. These decisions arise before, so it deserves custom tailored treatment and handle non-programmed decisions. So in case of programmed means it is guided by the same set of rules, wherein in non they may bring their own personal beliefs. Next, going to major and minor. So minor is decisions related to day and the periodic occurrences. Major means they're generally taken by the top management levels. So some of them are like purchasing a new machinery and employing the new technology. These are all major decisions. But granting leave and permissions, these are minor decisions. So they can be measured in 4 ways. You can just go through that. Strategic and routine means it is strategic is somewhat similar to major, that is taken by top management, like price increase or discount, change in the product range. Routine means it is day to day on the organization for the routine in nature. Sequential is nothing but it manager makes a decision one part at a time, only one. Once the result of the first part is known, then the second part will be decided. But in the beer by tail, like making important decisions or difficult decisions, that's it. Individual and collective decisions. Individuals are taken where the problem is a problem of routine nature, that is defined rules and procedures, interdepartmental decisions, and important strategies. These are taken in a group. So next is group decisions. This is like advantages, like because it is increased acceptance, we are having better communication, better coordination, like that. But also there are some disadvantages, like there will be delay as they will have many mix of uh, opinions, like that. Next, moving on to the simple and complex. Simple means related to only problem with few number of variables. Where there are many variables in the decision making will be complex. So it is simple like standing operating procedures, SOPs, like this. And the complex comes when you're having low degree of certainty, like your adaptive decisions, like change in the corporate plan itself according to the change in the environment, or you can say area of production change. These are all complex. Product promotion, SOPs, these are all simple. Next is hereditas and the intuitive decisions. Here, like rules of thumb, which organization evolve from their experience, cut down on the advertising in the decision, like that. Intuitive are the decisions which rely on feeling rather than the facts. and the main important steps of decision making. You need to know this flow diagram of the rational decision making process. First, you'll recognize problems, deciding the priorities. Next, what you will diagnose that problem. Then you will develop the alternative solution. Then measure and compare the consequences. Finally, decision implementation, and then you will follow. This is a complete step, and go on explaining each of them. Just take an example of something, and for each of this start explaining with their own example. According to that, you will recognize something problem you during a deviation of the plan. This is what something problem occurred. Then deciding the priorities. So you to solve that, you have to feel that which is mainly important. Next, will diagnose the problem, that he should have a systematic approach in diagnosing that problem, like where it has correctly started and how diagnosis is made correctly and find the solution easily. Next, alternative solutions. After having the diagnosed program, he should have multiple solutions to it and a unique solution which solves the uh, problem. Next is measuring and comparing the effective of the alternative solution. He has to think why this is better than all those. Converting the decision into plan, then he has to implement it, whether even with the opposition and the non-acceptance from the employees. There should be steps to convince them and follow up. And finally, follow up. After all this implementation, he has to have a follow up action. So if not, you will not get the result which is satisfactory. So you can refer to these questions, and I hope the module 1 is clear for you. If you know this much, this is much enough to write the kind of top contents or the points in your exam for the module 1. Similarly, I'll be posting for all the modules. Do like, share, and subscribe to Exam Ignite for the further videos and further chapters, and also for the further subjects. I'll be uploading even the previous year question papers and all those things. So please stay tuned. Thank you for watching.